What's going on, YouTube? It's Andrew Michael, and welcome back to the Bible Study, episode 99. It's your boy, Andrew Michael, putting on my shirt, because why not? Anyways, you're not here to hear about that. You're here to hear the Word of God. This is the 99th Saturday Bible Study that I have done, and I will tell you, every time I do this, I have to start with this. But it has been nothing short of a blessing to be able to share the Word of God with the platforms that I have, with not only YouTube being where I do the full Bible study, but also with Facebook, because Facebook is where I go to share what I'm doing for the Bible study. And also, if you don't know, I have Instagram now. I might post like, hey, I just did a Bible study, come check it out. Hey, I did this. Hey, I did this. I did this. So if you're coming from any of these other platforms, welcome. And if you only ever just watch the clips, I truly appreciate it, because again, I know how busy a lot of people are. I know that people go to football games. I know people have school. I know a lot of people have work. I know people have clinicals. They have all sorts of stuff in their day. And I do appreciate even if people just watch the short clip. And I know not everyone leaves a like they full on leave a like or whatever. They just watch the study. Honestly, even if you do that, I appreciate it, because, I mean, that is, telling Facebook, hey, people are watching this, let's share it, and let's see what happens. So I do appreciate that. I truly do. But today's not about me. Today, we are going to be in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and we're going to talk about something that I think needs to be done more, but needs to be done more properly, and that is loving each other. Now, obviously, you don't love each other like as a husband and wife kind of relationship. You don't love each other like lovers. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the love here, that's not what this love is. What this love is a love like a brother or sister. If you have siblings, I don't have siblings, but I have nieces and nephews, and I love them. And we're going to go through fights. I'm sure for anyone that has a brother or sister, you're going to fight each other over things. You're going to go through quarrels over things. You're going to go through trials of fighting each other sometimes. But if you truly love each other as a family, you're going to resolve it. It's going to come to a pass at some point in time. And when that happens, that is when you can discern if you truly love someone or not. Because if you don't love someone and you fight, if you can't resolve it and you can't resolve that conflict in a good manner, that relationship's not going to last. It's not going to last long, folks. But today I want to go through 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We're going to read it, and then we're going to talk about it. And I do have my notes. With that said, let's get into this. This is in verse 4. We're going to go from verse 4 all the way to the end of chapter 13. So here we go. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. When there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And then the last verse here, which is what Paul talks about. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So go into this. What is Paul talking about here? Paul is talking about how love is persistent. Love is something that when you show that to someone, it's not evil. It totally. If you look even in the Bible, and if you look in the New Testament, that's where I was getting at. If you look in the New Testament, it talks so much about love. We love God because he first loved us. You know, what God did through Jesus was an act of love. And not just a love like, oh, I love you as a wife, I love you as a lover, but he loves us as his children. You know, when parents, when they actually love their kids and not just throw them to the wayside, which is, there are so many different discussions that could be had based on what people are not doing that is hurting people. There are so many discussions that could be had. But the main one I want to talk about today is what we should be doing, which is loving one another. Taking time out of what we're doing to love one another. One thing that I see that parents sometimes do and sometimes don't. I'm not blaming all parents for doing this. I am not saying all parents are bad. That is not what I'm saying at all. But what I've noticed from some parents is they will act like as if their kids are inconveniencing them to a point to where they just don't love their kids. They just don't want to, spend time with their kids. They don't want to take the time to be with their kids. They don't want to do it. They just want to do their own thing. And I'm like, that's not love. That's laziness. Because here's the thing. Love is something that takes time. Love is something that when you do it over and over and over again, when you're in a relationship of any kind, love is something that is going to bring you back to that other person. I was reading an article before I came on here to do the Bible study, and it talked about why some women feel their relationships are being strained by their husbands, and why a lot of women, for some reason, are leaving these marriages 20 to 30 years in. Like, they'll have kids, and their kids will grow up and do their own things, but then their parents will get divorced. And it's like, why? Like, why? I don't get that. And one point these women make is they say that their men don't communicate. Or they'll say their men don't show communication. And they don't show it in a respectful way. And I was thinking about this too. As an introvert, it's hard to communicate. But when you actually do communicate and you're not afraid to communicate to people, people will respect that you're trying to get to know them. You're trying to understand who they are. You're trying to understand what they've got going on. But one thing you also have to do is you have to respect people's boundaries. Because not everyone's going to want you to be around them 24/7. Not everyone's going to want to be around you. But love is still a thing we have to show, even to our friends. One thing that I think is really cool about the Sunday school class that I'm in is I have been able to meet new people and, say, hey, welcome to this church. Welcome to our Sunday school. And I get to know them. I get to be friends with them. Think about it like as if you're going to school for the first time and you don't have any friends to start off. You're not going to know anyone. But as time grows, as time goes on, you get to be around some people. You get to be in a friend group. You get to associate with people. You get to understand what people do. And even in those friend groups, you're going to fight each other on some things. But if you truly love each other, you're going to come back. You're going to come back. You're going to love each other. And you're going to grow through that. Because love, at the end of the day, is not evil. It comes from God. And as Christians, we have to show love to others. We cannot be hating people. One thing that I see that blows my mind is I'll see some people go to church and I'll see some people I will see people go to church and love the people in the church. And I'll see people, they'll love people. They'll say, hey, how's it going? Hey, hope you're doing good. Then they leave church. They go to lunch. Still loving. And then as soon as they dissipate and go do their own thing for the rest of the week, They start hating on people again. They start judging people. They start acting like as if they never went to church at all. They act like as if they did not just hear the loving words of God that they need to hear. And I'm like, as Christians, you can't do that. Because you cannot love the people in the church but hate every single person outside this church. Because guess what? The church is not about you. This is not a popularity contest. This is not, oh my gosh, let me show off me. Let me show off how good I am. Let me show off how wonderful of a life I'm living. It's not about that. It's about praising God. And when you love someone, you are showing the love of God through you. Because you're wanting to take time out of your day to be with that person. You're taking the time out of your day to care for that person. And even if you are single for the rest of your life, even if I'm single for the rest of my life, being able to make friends with people, being able to talk to people in a gentle and respect way, being able to be there for people, being able to talk to people when they're going through something, being able to be there for someone, and showing that you care for them, and show that you're not going to judge them, even when they make mistakes. It is such a critical thing, and yet this world can't wrap their mind around that. And one thing this world doesn't want to admit, that it needs to understand, is that even when you do confront somebody about their sins, when you do that, you're not doing it because you want to control that person. You do it because you love that person. And you want to see that person change. And when you confront sin, that person that you're confronting has to make two choices. Either they will ignore you or they will hold on to what you said. One of those two. And when you make the conscious effort to share that love to that person, it's such a huge thing. It is such a huge thing. Now, I do have some notes. And even though I'm using a different computer, we got 3 of them. So, first one. Love towards others should be our first instinct when we see someone, not hate or mean comments or thoughts. I'm going to be honest on this one. This is what I used to do all the time. And people are like, whoa, Andrew, I can't believe you would do this. Here's the thing. As a guy, and this aligns with the article I was reading, because this is true. As a guy, it's easy to put on a mask and say, oh no, I'm fine. I'm not dealing with anything right now. I'm fine. I'm completely fine. And you're not fine. Or, you know, there's the trope of women, you go up to them and say, hey, are you okay? They say, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. And they're not fine. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? And I think the reason is because society has made it to where if you are vulnerable, if you do share your weaknesses, you're called a girl. You're called not a guy. You're a feminist guy if you share your thoughts. You are a weak person if you are emotional. You're weak if you express your emotions to people. And the people that say that you shouldn't do this, the people that say you shouldn't share your emotions, and the people that say that you should not be vulnerable about your things, I'm sorry, but that's not loving. That is not loving if you're not going to allow your friends to come to you to express your feelings. It's not a loving family if you don't feel like you can go to your family without being judged. And when your family judges you for stuff, yeah, you might need to be called out for it. But if you can't ever go talk to your family about things you're dealing with, it's only going to make you feel less trustworthy of things around you and people around you. And it's such a sad thing. It is such a sad thing, folks. It really is. Because we're called to love everyone. But it doesn't mean we should love everyone's sins, but we are called nonetheless to love everyone because God loved us through Christ. And when you judge someone, when you see someone and you judge them, it's like, oh man, what is this person wearing? What is this person doing? But then you realize, at the end of the day, this is still someone that's a child of God. Or someone, even if they don't know the word of God, they can still be followers of God down the road. So why would we not share the word of God with that person? Why would we not want to talk to this person at least? Because this person we're talking to could wind up being one of the biggest evangelists we ever see. They could wind up being one of the most influential people in a church. They could be one of the biggest, sharers of the word of God, and they don't have to go to church or nothing. They can go share the word of God easily. That could be what these people turn into, but if you're hating them, then why are they going to feel comfortable doing that? And folks, we live in a society where I've said this and I'll say it again. It not only does it matter what you say, it matters how you say it. Because people can tell what tone you're using when you talk to them. And when you're chill and you're gentle and you're respectful of people, they will gravitate towards that. They will gravitate towards you when you are respectful, when you are sharing love to others. An example of this is, and this is just a random example, but it has a point to this. So, last Friday was the 3-year anniversary of my mom dying. And that whole week, from Tuesday to Friday, I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. Emotionally, it was rough. Tuesday, I barely held it in. I was fine a little bit. Wednesday, I was fine. Didn't feel too many emotions then. Thursday, even my coworkers told me they could tell something was off with me. And at the end of the workday on Thursday, I'm going to be honest, I lost it. I did. Because I was feeling all of these emotions and I just had to let it out. And then Friday, I posted a kind of a eulogy kind of thing for my mom. And I posted it. And I had to be vulnerable, so I talked about my feelings. I had to. And I was like, even if only one person sees this is fine. And so I posted it and came back and looked at it at like 10:30ish or whatever at night. And just the love I saw from people was just... I can't describe how I felt after reading that. After reading everyone's comments, after seeing all the people that liked and left a heart message, that left a caring thing. I mean, I know I'm loved, but I never knew how loved I was. And it blew my mind. Truly. It blew my mind, and I just felt so grateful for what God has given me in my life, and more importantly, what He did through Jesus. And this Tuesday, I call her my work mama, and she is an absolutely wonderful lady. Absolutely beautiful, wonderful lady. And she came to me, and she just gave me a big, huge hug, and she's never done this. I've only been with this company for 2.5 years. She has never done this. And we kind of know each other, kind of do, kind of don't. But once she told me, like, once she read what I was going through on Friday, she knew. Like, she from then on knew that. And then the love she showed Tuesday by not only giving me a hug, but also telling me, like, no matter what happens, I will be your work mama. Even if you leave, I will be your mama. I will literally adopt you. And I love you as if you're one of my own. And when we hugged for a good while. And she's never done this. And I straight up told her I love her. Not in a weird way. Not in a way that was creepy. But I loved her because she reminded me of my mom. And I loved her as a mom. I do. And I have another work mama. And I had to hug her too. Man, I'm going to tell you. Love, when done right, is such a powerful thing. It is such a powerful thing. And from then on, I would say my relationship with my 2 work mamas has never been stronger. It's never been as strong as it is. Now, again, the second point I'm going to get to is that sometimes when we love each other, the feeling is going to go away. That feeling is going to go away. But still, the fact that if you can still love that person even when that feeling goes away, that is huge. And this is point number 2. The feeling of love might go away, but your relationship with someone, friend or more than friend, should not be solely based on your feelings. It is just like when people talk about your faith should not be based on feelings. Because trust me, I used to do this. But your feelings are gonna change. Your emotions are gonna change. How you feel about someone is gonna change. It is absolutely gonna change. Why? Because as humans, we're not gonna feel the same every day. Just going back to me and my work mama, that she gave me a hug on Tuesday, she never has it on Thursday. Yesterday she came in, when she first saw me, she came and gave me a hug again, and we smiled at each other as if we loved each other. Not in a husband-wife way at all, but just in a family way, as we love each other now as a family. She loves me as one of her own, and I love her as if she's my mom. Truly. And that feeling of that is going to go away. It is going to go away. But even when you don't feel that spark, even when you don't feel that affection, even when you don't feel that hug that people give you, that love is still need to be there if you want that relationship to grow. It's the same way with our walk in God. If you want your walk in God to be good, if you want your walk in God to be something that you want it to grow, you gotta show love even when you're not feeling it. Because it's such a huge thing that's missing. Because when you love somebody, it does not matter how you feel. Because when you love someone and you want to be there for someone and you're helping someone and you're just straight up just being there for that person, they feel that. Other person feels it. And so, final point. And this is my last point here. Love sometimes takes time. But sometimes when you take a shot in the dark and love someone you don't know in any way, that can leave a huge impact on that person and possibly lead them to Christ. One thing that I saw on social media, and I see this, as men, we don't get many compliments. We don't get many hugs these days. We don't get as much attention as women do. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, I hate women. Oh, women are horrible. That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I notice is when women go through things, when women are crying, when women are going through depression, when women are going through all these things, when they go through things, men and women are quick to be there for that person. We're quick to be there for that woman. Yet when a man goes through something, they get made fun of. They get told, oh, you can't cry at all. You can't cry on your wedding day. You can't cry when your child is born. You can't cry when your wife is dying. You can't cry when you lose a loved one. You can't show emotion when your kid does something awesome. You can't cry if your kid, hopefully, I hope this never happens. I hope it happens. Oh no, I hope this does not happen to anybody. But when your kid tragically passes away, when your kid gets in a bad car wreck and you don't ever see them again in the same way and you show emotion, you can't show love at all. You can't show emotion. You can't show that. That is so freaking stupid and hateful for people to be like that. And it's such a shame to see where society is with that. But the same way with love. If you show love to someone you don't know, it can straight up change their life. Women, when you compliment a guy, it might be the biggest thing that guy hears in weeks or months. And we remember these. We remember the compliments. We straight up do. As a guy, I'm only 25, but even I see this. We don't get complimented all that often. We don't. Like, we don't get many compliments from girls. We don't get many hugs. We don't get many people that tell us they love us as friends. We don't have many girls that want to be there as friends for us. We don't feel the same way as women do. And it's such a shame because it should be equal. You know, women and men should be getting the same attention. Women and men should be loved at the same level. When men are going through something, we need to be there for each other. We need to love each other. But more importantly, we need to love people we don't know. We need to allow people to talk to us, and we need to shut up and listen. So that in a way we can say, okay, I understand you're going through this and this. Is there any way I can pray for you? I know you're going through this, 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 and this. Is there any way that I can help you out? Is there any way that I can do this? Is there any way I can do this? Because it's not about us. When you love someone, don't do it out of selfish ambition, but do it so that a way you can grow the kingdom of Christ. Because that's ultimately what the goal is here, is not to build up your own kingdom. Because guess what? Our worldly kingdoms are going to pass away. But the heavenly kingdom will never pass away. The love God has for you will not change. But instead of that being an excuse for you to go sin, that should be a reason for you to love God and to love others. Because if God did what he did through Jesus out of love, why can we not share that same love to random strangers? Why can we not show that same love to our coworkers? Why can we not show that same love to our friends? Why can't we show that same love even to our enemies? If the God Almighty could do what he did through Jesus, and he didn't even have to do it. We didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve his love. We didn't deserve any of that. But if God was able to do that through Jesus, why in the world can he not do that through us? Tell me why he can't do that through us. Why can't we do that to others? You know? And it's such a shame because as Christians, we're called to love one another, not be hateful, not to be judgmental. When your kid is going through something, don't be like, oh my gosh, what do you want? Instead of being like that, say, okay, let's talk about this. Oh, you did good. Oh, you went through something. Oh, well, let's talk about it. Like, why? Why be so hateful? Why be so angry towards your kids? Why treat them like absolute garbage? Why treat them like as if they don't matter? Why do that? That is not love. That's hate. That is straight up hate when you do that. And friends, we're called to love each other, folks. We're called to love each other. And so with that, I am going to end it here. Thank you all for this Bible study. Thank you all for listening to this Bible study wherever you are. Whatever you're doing today, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I love all of y'all. And until next time, I'm Andrew Michael. I will see you all in the next one. God bless all of you.